6 months ago, my ex-boyfriend started a smear campaign against me. After I broke up with him for cheating, he told everyone I was crazy, jealous, abusive, and that I'd made up the whole cheating story because I couldn't handle him moving on. He painted himself as the victim and me as the psycho ex-girlfriend. Our mutual friends believed him. His family believed him. Even some of my own friends started questioning my version of events. I watched my reputation get destroyed in real time while he played the sympathetic good guy who'd escaped a toxic relationship. And then his new girlfriend reached out to me. She'd found something he'd hidden, something that proved every single thing I'd said was true. And together, we made sure everyone knew exactly who the real liar was. So let me tell you the whole story. How my ex gaslit an entire social circle into thinking I was unstable. How his new girlfriend became the most unexpected ally I could have asked for. And how we exposed him so thoroughly that he had to delete all his social media and move to a different city. Because this isn't just a revenge story. This is about what happens when women stop competing and start comparing notes. Let me start with some background. I dated my ex, let's call him Ryan, for 3 years. We met when I was 24 and he was 26. We worked at the same tech company, different departments. He was in sales, I was in product management. The first year was great. He was charming, attentive, said all the right things. We moved in together after about 10 months, got a nice apartment. In the city, adopted a cat together, did the whole young professional couple thing. The second year, things started to feel off. He was on his phone constantly. He'd get texts late at night and say it was work stuff. He started going on more business trips than before. When I asked questions, he'd get defensive and accuse me of being jealous and insecure. I pushed down my gut instincts. I told myself I was being paranoid. I didn't want to be that girlfriend who didn't trust her boyfriend, so I tried to be cool about it. The third year, I found out I wasn't paranoid. I came home early from a work conference. I was supposed to be gone until Thursday, but my flight got changed and I got home Tuesday night instead. Around 9 p.m., I walked into our apartment and heard voices from the bedroom. I'm sure you can guess what I found. Her name was Jessica. She worked at his company, in his department. She was a junior sales associate, 22 years old. She was in our bed, wearing one of my robes. I stood in the doorway and just stared. Ryan jumped up, started stammering. Jessica grabbed her clothes and ran past me out of the apartment. I didn't even look at her. I was just looking at Ryan. He immediately started with the excuses. It was a mistake. It just happened. He was drunk. It didn't mean anything. He loved me. He'd never do it again. I didn't yell. I didn't cry. I just said, "Get out of my apartment." See, the apartment lease was in my name only. I'd had it before we moved in together. He was technically just living there. So legally, I could kick him out. He tried to argue. I pulled out my phone and said, "Get out now, or I'm calling the police and telling them there's an intruder in my home who's refusing to leave." He left. He grabbed some clothes and left. The next day, I packed up all his stuff, put it in boxes in the hallway, and changed the locks. I texted him that his things were outside and he had 24 hours to pick them up or I was donating everything. I thought that was the end of it. I thought we'd go our separate ways and that would be that. I was so wrong. Within a week, I started hearing things. A mutual friend asked me if I was doing okay and getting help. I asked what she meant. She said Ryan had told everyone that I'd physically attacked him, destroyed his belongings, and kicked him out with no warning because I'd had a paranoid episode and accused him of cheating with zero evidence. I was stunned. I said, "I caught him in bed with another woman, in our apartment. That's not paranoia, that's reality." She looked uncomfortable and said, "Well, that's not what he's telling people." I started asking around. Turns out Ryan had been telling everyone that I was emotionally abusive, that I'd isolated him from his friends, that I went through his phone constantly, that I accused him of cheating with every woman he talked to, and that I finally snapped and kicked him out over nothing. He told people I was unstable, that I needed therapy, that he'd tried to help me but I refused to get help, that he was afraid of me, and people believed him. Why? Because he told his story first. Because he was calm and played the victim perfectly. Because I was so shocked and hurt that I didn't immediately defend myself to everyone. And because, honestly, people love drama, and his version was more dramatic. His family sent me angry messages. His mom told me I should be ashamed of myself for what I did to her son. His sister blocked me on everything. His friends, who I'd considered my friends too, stopped talking to me. Even some of my own friends started questioning me. They'd say things like, "Are you sure that's what happened?" Or, "Maybe you misunderstood." "What you saw?" Or, "Ryan seems really hurt. Maybe you overreacted." It was gaslighting on a massive scale. And it was working. I tried to tell the truth. I told people exactly what happened. But Ryan had gotten to them first, and once people believe one version of a story, it's really hard to change their minds. The worst part was work. We worked at the same company, remember? Ryan was going around telling people his version. I started getting weird looks in the hallway. People stopped inviting me to lunch. My manager even pulled me aside and asked if I needed to take some personal time to deal with things. I felt completely powerless. My reputation was being destroyed and there was nothing I could do about it. And then, about 2 months after our breakup, Ryan started dating someone new. Her name was Megan. I'd heard through the grapevine that Ryan had a new girlfriend. I didn't care. I was just trying to move on with my life and rebuild my reputation. I saw them together once, at a coffee shop near our old apartment. I walked in, saw them sitting at a table, immediately turned around and left. I wasn't about to subject myself to that. About a month later, I got a DM on Instagram from an account I didn't recognize. The profile was private, no profile picture, just a name, Megan Collins. The message said, "Hi. I know this is weird and you have no reason to trust me, but I need to talk to you about Ryan. Can we meet somewhere? I promise I'm not trying to start drama. I just need to know the truth about something." My first instinct was to ignore it. This had to be some kind of trap. Maybe Ryan had put her up to it. Maybe she wanted to confront me about being the crazy ex, but something about the message felt genuine. And honestly, I was curious. I responded, "What is this about?" She replied immediately, "I found something on Ryan's laptop. Messages between him and someone named Jessica, from before he met me, and some of the dates overlap with when he says he was still with you. I need to know if he's been lying to me about what happened with you two." My heart started pounding. I wrote back, "Yes, let's meet. When and where?" We agreed to meet at a neutral coffee shop the next day. I was nervous. I didn't know what to expect. Part of me thought this might be Ryan testing me somehow. But when I walked into that coffee shop and saw Megan sitting there, I knew immediately that she was genuine. She looked anxious and sad and like she really didn't want to be there. I sat down across from her and said, "Hi." She said, "Thank you for meeting me. I know this must be really weird for you." I said, "It's definitely not what I expected to be doing today. But you said you found messages?" Megan pulled out her phone. She said, "Okay, so context. Ryan and I have been together for about 2 months. He told me that you guys broke up because you were really controlling and jealous, and that you accused him of cheating even though he never did. He said you were emotionally abusive and he had to get out for his own mental health." I nodded. "That's what he's been telling everyone." She continued, "Last week his laptop was open and I needed to look up something quickly. I used his laptop and I accidentally saw a message notification pop up from someone named Jessica. The preview said something like, 'Miss you, we should meet up again.' I was confused because he'd never mentioned anyone named Jessica. So I did something I'm not proud of. I went through his messages, and I found an entire thread with this Jessica person going back over a year, like into the time when he says he was still with you." She turned her phone toward me. On the screen was a screenshot of a text conversation. I recognized Ryan's message style immediately. The texts were flirty. Sexual even. There were messages from dates that I remembered clearly because Ryan had told me he was on business trips. There were messages talking about sneaking around and being careful. There were messages from literally the week before I caught them together. And there were messages from after our breakup, where Jessica was asking when they could be public about their relationship, and Ryan was saying he needed to manage the narrative first and make sure everyone thinks the breakup was her fault. Not mine. There was literally a text where Ryan said to Jessica, "I told everyone she's crazy and abusive. No one's going to believe her version of events. We just need to lay low for a few more months and then we can go public." I felt like I'd been punched in the stomach. Seeing it in writing was somehow worse than just knowing it had happened. Megan said, So he did cheat on you. And then he lied about it to everyone. And he lied to me about why you broke up. I nodded. I said I caught him in bed with Jessica. In our apartment. That's why I kicked him out. Everything he's been saying about me being crazy and abusive, it's all lies to cover up the fact that he's a cheater. Megan closed her eyes and took a deep breath. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry he did that to you. And I'm sorry I didn't question his story sooner. I should have known something was off. I said, don't apologize. He's really good at playing the victim. He convinced almost everyone that I was the problem. She said, well, I have all these screenshots. And I have more. There are messages where he talks about other women too. Like, I think he might have been cheating on me too. Or at least planning to. We sat there for a minute, just processing. Then Megan said, what do you want to do about this? I looked at her and said, what do you mean? She said, I mean, we have proof now. Proof that he lied about everything. Proof that he cheated on you, lied about you, manipulated everyone. What do we do with that proof? I thought about it. Part of me wanted to just take the evidence and quietly show it to the people who mattered. Clear my name privately and move on. But another part of me was angry. Really, really angry. This man had spent months destroying my reputation. He'd turned friends against me. He'd made me question my own sanity. He'd made people think I was abusive and unstable, and he'd done it all to cover up his own cheating. I said, I want everyone to know the truth. Megan nodded. Me too. We came up with a plan. It was simple but effective. Megan would make a public post on social media. She'd post the screenshots of Ryan's messages with Jessica, including the ones where he explicitly talked about lying about me. She'd explain that she'd been dating Ryan, found this evidence, reached out to me, and confirmed that he'd been lying to everyone about our breakup. She'd tag Ryan in the post. She'd tag mutual friends. She'd make it impossible to ignore. I would share the post and add my own statement confirming everything and thanking Megan for having the courage to expose the truth. We debated whether this was too harsh, whether we should confront Ryan privately first and give him a chance to come clean on his own. But then, Megan showed me more messages. Messages where Ryan was calling me names to his friends. Messages where he was making fun of me for falling for his act. Messages where he was actively coaching other friends on how to avoid me and keep me isolated. He'd been deliberate, calculated. He'd ruined my reputation on purpose to cover his own tracks. So we decided, public post, full exposure. No holding back. Megan said, I'm nervous. He's going to lose his mind. I said, good. He should have thought about that before he spent 3 months calling me crazy. Megan posted on a Sunday evening. Prime social media time. The post was long. She explained everything clearly. She included multiple screenshots with dates visible. She wrote, I need to share something important. I've been dating Ryan for 2 months. He told me his ex-girlfriend was abusive and controlling, and that she kicked him out over false cheating accusations. I believed him. But I recently found messages on his laptop that tell a completely different story. He was cheating on her with someone named Jessica. He then lied to everyone about what happened to avoid taking responsibility. I reached out to his ex, and she confirmed everything. I'm sharing this because she deserves to have her reputation restored, and because everyone should know who Ryan really is. Women need to stop tearing each other down and start comparing notes. She attached the screenshots. The messages were damning. Within 10 minutes, the post had dozens of comments. People were shocked. People were tagging other people. The post was being shared. I shared it to my own page with a simple statement. Thank you, Megan, for having the courage to share the truth. For 3 months, I've watched my reputation get destroyed by someone who cheated on me and then lied about it to cover his tracks. To everyone who believed his version of events without asking me, this is what really happened. I caught him cheating. He lied about it, and he made me out to be unstable to avoid accountability. I'm grateful the truth is finally out there. My phone exploded. Messages, comments, reactions. People were apologizing. People were expressing shock. People were sharing their own stories of Ryan being dishonest, and then Ryan started responding. He commented on Megan's post trying to deny everything. He claimed the screenshots were fake or taken out of context. He said we were both crazy and obsessed with him, but the evidence was too clear. The screenshots had timestamps. They had context. They lined up with verifiable events. His denials just made him look worse. His friends started turning on him. People who'd defended him were now saying they felt manipulated. Women started coming forward saying he'd hit on them while he was supposedly in committed relationships. The pile-on was intense, and honestly, he deserved every bit of it. Within 48 hours, Ryan had deleted all his social media accounts. He just vanished from every platform. I heard through mutual friends that his family was furious with him. His mom sent me an apology message saying she was horrified by what she'd learned, and she was sorry for judging me without knowing the full story. Several friends who believed Ryan's lies reached out to apologize. Some of them I forgave. Some of them I didn't. Trust is hard to rebuild once it's broken. At work, the story spread. HR got involved because apparently there were company policy violations related to Ryan's relationship with Jessica, who was technically his subordinate. Ryan ended up leaving the company a few weeks later. I don't know if he was fired or if he resigned to avoid being fired, but either way, he was gone. Jessica also left the company, though I heard she got a job somewhere else pretty quickly. Megan and I actually became friends. Real friends. We got coffee every couple of weeks and vented about the whole situation. She's dating someone new now, someone who actually treats her well. She said going through this whole thing taught her what red flags to watch for. As for me, my reputation was restored. People knew the truth. I didn't have to walk around feeling like everyone thought I was crazy anymore. A few months later, I heard Ryan had moved to a different city. Fresh start, I guess. I hope whoever he dates next has the good sense to Google him first. Here's what I learned from all of this. First, if someone is working really hard to control the narrative about a breakup, there's probably a reason. Innocent people don't need elaborate cover stories. Second, women supporting each other is incredibly powerful. Megan could have ignored what she found. She could have believed Ryan's lies about me and just broken up with him quietly. But she chose to reach out, to verify, and to expose the truth. That took courage. Third, the truth has a way of coming out eventually. You can lie and manipulate and control the story for a while, but eventually the evidence catches up with you, and finally, your reputation might take a hit when someone lies about you. But if you stay consistent and truthful, people will figure it out. It might take time, but the truth is more durable than lies. I'm doing great now. I'm dating someone new who actually respects me. I got a promotion at work. I have my real friends back, and I've cut out the ones who were too quick to believe lies about me. And Ryan? Wherever he is, I hope he's learned his lesson. But honestly, I doubt it. People like that don't usually change. They just find new people to manipulate. But at least this time, there's a digital trail. If he tries this with someone else, the evidence is out there. All his next girlfriend will have to do is Google his name, and that's exactly how it should be.